Thank you, Chair, and indeed thank you to the panel for their insights. I'm going to return to some of their findings with some questions later in my contribution. In Ireland, like in many member states, we're facing a profound housing crisis. In a recent study by the Society of Chartered Surveyors Ireland, comparing construction costs across Europe, cities like Zurich were first and Dublin was second. This is an extraordinary table for us to be any place near the top of. It's just not viable and not feasible, and that's why tens of thousands of people are struggling to find a home, particularly areas like County Kildare, part of my own constituency, where I go to next week to speak to people who are unable to buy a house. Unfortunately, Chair, the longer I look at the challenge, the more I see there are no easy solutions. But at least in all of the cities we're hearing about today, efforts are being made. So when we speak about state aid, we must look at it in the context of not only supporting the building of houses, but also the purchasing of houses. And the way that it's done differently in member states. So to the panel in general, I suppose I want to ask the question, do you see good examples of where, if we take the burden from citizens as opposed from developers, then this might provide a better outcome? Specifically, an example, let's try and be practical for these people buying a house. Value-added tax applied across the member states, varying rates in different parts of our regrettably, in my constituency, at 13 or 20% or higher from time to time. So the person who buys a house for the first time, a young couple, will pay, on average, 40 to 45,000 euro in VAT on their house sale at the beginning. This they will never receive back. They will not get it back. They're not in building. They're not in the business. They lose the money. So is there a case to be made for a rebate to encourage first-time buyers in particular, and would that have an effect on the market? I know some might say this is state aid of a certain type, but I'm asking, it's a practical suggestion. Mr. McManus, given your experience in housing in Europe and the Irish context, I wonder, I might ask you, how can EU funding and policy more effectively support the scaling up of social and cost rental housing, particularly in the high-demand urban areas that you know well, like Dublin and Galway? I'm interested, Mr. Lagier, if I could ask you one question to explain to me. I was fascinated by this solution, which apparently is working to some extent, the unbundling of the land and the construction. And I'm wondering how legally that is even possible in some cases. And to you all, I suppose, in general, as a final question, I would ask, in your view, how can the EU help member states protect housing from financialisation and the vulture funds mentioned just a little bit earlier on by somebody, while still managing the pressures of global capital and speculative investment? Thank you.
Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.